In today's news, recaptured prison escapee Almestica slapped with 28 new charges after 20 guns and cocaine valued nearly $50 million found during recent arrest.
Virgin Islanders and friends are in mourning after Virgin Islands star, the young 2-year-old that is, Logan Cruz, has transitioned after a long fight with cancer.
And the Omicron suspected to be in the BVI following surge in active positive COVID-19 cases. CARPHA results pending for confirmation.
And we're asking whether or not you have seen these men. Prince and Turnbull are said to be missing. The Royal Virgin Islands Police Force seeks the public's assistance.
And public recommendations and submissions wanted on National Sustainable Development Plan. But these and more stories when 284 News return.
Is business slow? Cash flow down? Hosting an upcoming event? We can help. Advertise with 284 Media and take your business or event to the next level by enhancing your present marketing and messaging strategies. Allow our team of experts to create a personalized ad that sets your business apart from all the rest. This could be your business or event. So, what are you waiting for? Contact our marketing team at 284media@cctbvi.com. Advertising with us works.
Viewers, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us. Welcome. We are 284 News. It is Friday, January 7th, 2022. A fantastic Friday, that is, in the beautiful Virgin Islands. I'm Ron Grant.
And viewers, I'm Kamal Haynes, and we start today's newscast with Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, who recently seized record numbers of guns, cash, and drugs. Our recently captured prisoner, Jose Almestica, slapped with 28 new charges after being caught with 20 guns, hundreds of thousands of dollars in cash, and nearly 500 kilos of cocaine valued approximately $50 million. But this was revealed by the Commissioner of the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, Mark Collins, during a press conference held today, Friday, January 7th. Well, according to Commissioner Collins, Almestica was charged yesterday with 11 counts of keeping an unlicensed firearm, 4 counts of keeping a prohibited weapon, 1 count of carrying an unlicensed firearm, 8 counts of unlawful possession of ammunition, and 4 counts of possession of controlled drugs and intent to supply. While speaking on the breakthrough, Commissioner Collins detailed the contents found during Almestica's arrest.
I'm here today to announce that we've since laid several additional charges against him, which are as a result of the discovery of a cache of high-powered, illegal and prohibited weapons, an unprecedented amount of ammunition, and a large amount of cash, as well as a large amount of counterfeit notes, cocaine, with a street value of almost $50 million. These were recovered in an operation conducted at the residence where Almestica was known to have resided. As a result of this operation, conducted by the Major Incident Team, 20 firearms were recovered and confiscated. Of those 20, 7 were high-powered prohibited weapons. In addition, close to 500 kilos of cocaine, 5.8 kilos of cannabis, and hundreds of thousands of dollars were seized.
While Commissioner Collins also revealed that 3 individuals charged with harboring Almestica, which included Jennifer Smith, Renee Smith, and Shamal Smith, were also slapped with multiple charges. But these include 11 counts of keeping an unlicensed firearm, 3 counts of keeping a prohibited weapon, 7 counts of unlawful possession of ammunition, and 4 counts of possession of controlled drugs with intent to supply. What the top cop said, this seizure of guns has now set a new record in the territory for the most guns confiscated in an annual year, which also included 7 high-powered weapons. Well, he labeled Almestica as one of the leading players in the drug and arms trade in both the Virgin Islands, adding that authorities for the United States Virgin Islands will also be questioning him.
With the illegal firearms confiscated in this operation and the guns confiscated during other operations of 2021, we have seized a record number of 30 guns for the period. Of those seized, 7 were prohibited weapons, and we also seized a record 1,650 rounds of ammunition. We consider Mr. Almestica's arrest and recapture substantial. He is obviously a lead player in the drug and arms trade, not just in the BVI, but also in the USVI, where the authorities also there are waiting to interview him. Other charges are pending as the investigations continue. Mr. Almestica spent a number of years traversing the seas between the territories, and law enforcement agencies in both jurisdictions had hoped to recapture him before he was aware that he was on the radar.
Well, viewers, Commissioner Collins said no further details on the case can be provided at this time, as it is a very active investigation with sensitive information that once released could potentially jeopardize the case. Well, this is a very great breakthrough for the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force. Ron, we would have seen the arrest sometime last month, December, in the West End area, followed with a lot of speculations regarding what was seized and what wasn't. Now we see the Commissioner of Police basically,
or who was involved,
and who was involved. And now we see the Commissioner of Police basically bringing that information to the forefront, basically stating that some $50 million of street value of cocaine was caught, 20 guns, 7 high-powered, and hundreds of thousands of dollars of cash.
Amazing.
This is probably one of the most major breakthroughs from the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force from a single perspective in terms of what was seized during that operation. And we see the 3 persons who were also charged with harboring Mr. Almestica, also caught up in the midst of those charges as well.
Kamal, I think the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force, of course, under the leadership of Commissioner Mark Collins, it should be pleased that there are a lot less drugs, there are a lot less guns on the streets in the territory of the Virgin Islands. I think while it is still daunting that we still have to battle these a number of issues, they should be thankful, and I think they should be commended as it pertains to this particular case. Now, viewers, on to a very sombering and heartfelt story. The Virgin Islands itself, from Tortola, Virgin Gorda, Jost Van Dyke, St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, and Water Island, of course Miami, Florida, and the United States are all in mourning as the star Logan Strong has passed away, the one and only 2-year-old toddler who has been fighting cancer for as long as he's been around, essentially. In a recent Facebook post, the mother of Logan Cruz shared that the toddler who fought long and hard has transitioned. Her post read, and I quote, "You turned the sky blue when it was raining. You were always too perfect for this world." She listed the date, and rest easy, baby. Mama will come find you. Logan, who again would have been 3 in May, hailed from St. Croix, U.S. Virgin Islands, and the hashtag Logan Strong is one that has become known to residents, friends, all across the Virgin Islands and beyond. Logan is remembered by the world for his immense strength and courage. To 84 Media, we wish to take this opportunity to extend our condolences to the family of Logan. We absolutely, it was just yesterday, Kamal, that we reported on this story, really wanting to bring light and love to the situation, and wanting to really have persons rally, those who believe in prayer, those who are of that faith, and of course those who wanted to contribute financially. A Facebook page was created, the Logan Miracle Foundation, where persons who were blood donors, persons who wanted to contribute significantly, and I mean thousands of persons, not only in the Virgin Islands and the region, but across the world, really rallied and supported. Logan has lost his battle with cancer, and we absolutely, our hearts go out to the family of Logan Cruz. Viewers, we're continuing on. Police are seeking the public's assistance in locating 2 missing Virgin Islands young men. They are Corey Prince, 22, and Kelvin Turnbull, Jr., 20. Now, the 2 men were reported missing on January 4th, and they are believed, to have boarded a private vessel on the evening of December 31st, 2021. Police say they have carried out external investigations both locally, and have also contacted neighboring jurisdictions with photos of both men along with a description of the boat they may have been traveling in. Neither of the 2 men nor the vessel have been seen thus far. Corey Prince of West End Tortola was last seen wearing a West Marine shirt and black jeans pants. Kelvin Turnbull, Jr. of Little Dix Hill, was last seen in the Boggers Bay area. No description of Turnbull's clothing was available. Police are really and truly asking for persons who have any information, viewers, regarding the whereabouts of the two young men to kindly contact the Royal Virgin Islands Police Force 3-digit access number 311. In addition to that, we're asking our colleagues over in the USVI and across the region if you may have come in contact with any of the men or have seen or know of their whereabouts. Please contact the local Royal Virgin Islands Police Force. Family, friends, persons, come on, are truly concerned about their whereabouts.
Indeed, and I mean, they've been missing since December 31st, and obviously the family members would be really concerned regarding the disappearance of their brothers, cousins, loved ones, basically. Well, viewers, up next, the Omicron suspected to be in the BVI following surge in active positive COVID-19 cases, with CARPHA results pending for confirmation, and public recommendations and submissions wanted on National Sustainable Development Plan. Well, these and more stories after a word from our sponsors.
The wait is over. CCT Fire is here. Experience ultra-fast downloads, seamless streaming, and even more reliable connectivity on an all-new fire-blazing super-fast CCT Fiber network. CCT Fire. Bring it home and upgrade today.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a brand new season of The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, a show poised to help guide modern-day men into 21st century distinguished gentlemen. It doesn't always involve suits and, bow ties, but raw, real-life lessons that translate to grounded, community-minded, well-rounded men. This season, I'm taking you on an entirely different journey, from chefs to dancers, philanthropists, communications specialists, and much more. I'm heading outside in the field to share the journey of some of the BVI's best and brightest men. From East End to West End, Bojangara, Jackson Lake, not forgetting Anigata. Our Virgin Islands gentlemen are doing the damn thing, and I'm so proud. Get ready to reason, reflect, and redirect. We are the movers and shakers of this generation, and we ain't afraid to show it. The Art of a Distinguished Gentleman, Season 3 by yours truly, Ron Grant, raising a generation of greatness.
Well, welcome back, viewers. With the territory recording some 357 new active positive COVID-19 cases within a 3-day period, some health officials are now suspecting that the Omicron variant of the COVID-19 virus may be in the British Virgin Islands. Well, this is according to the Minister for Health, Carvin Malone, who made a disclosure during an interview with 284 News. Minister Malone at the time said that his ministry was awaiting confirmation from the Caribbean Public Health Agency, also referred to as CARPHA, after samples were sent to be returned by today, January 7th.
You look at the drastic spike, one can only highly speculate. There's throughout the region now, there are a number of regional countries that have it, and we haven't cut off entrance from any directions to it. So the USVI is one, but there are others coming from south, from east, from west.
Well, the health minister said that the recent rise in cases was expected following the festive season, which is known to be associated with gatherings and many other activities that ignore the COVID-19 protocols.
You would have to have been living somewhere else not to know that with the Christmas gatherings, the number of gatherings for Christmas, number of gatherings that occurred for New Year's, and these were suspected that they would have an effect, and they are showing at this particular time. So we are mindful that in the next days ahead there may well be additional, but we have to look in terms of how do we break the cycle. It is critical that we break the cycle of this.
Well, when asked on whether his government will be taking any stringent measures to suppress the present COVID spike in the territory, the minister said while the cabinet will be assessing all possible measures, the government is in sync with Premier Andrew Foy's stance of not closing down the BVI's economy. Well, he said his government has done all they could possibly do to ensure that the BVI is prepared for most COVID-related situations by investing millions into the healthcare sector. Malone added that the onus is now on the people of the territory to abide by the protocols and do what is necessary to ensure the territory successfully wins the battle against this present COVID-19 spike.
The fact remains, we have purchased what ventilators we need. We have built what testing centers we need. We have looked in terms of having COVID wards. We have built out the laboratory system. We have built out, we have made it vaccines available, AstraZeneca. We have made the Pfizer available. We have passed legislations which basically look in terms of the fines for not keeping with the protocols. We have instituted curfews. We have instituted lockdowns. We had feeding systems. We had feeding particular programs. What more is it that government is required? The population has a duty to look at the global situation, look at the regional situation, and act accordingly. The government has spent millions of dollars. They had to divert millions of dollars towards fighting this COVID-19 virus. So the fact remains that you close down tomorrow, you break the cycle, you open up tomorrow, and everyone go back into their old ways. We are confident that we have to live with it because it's not going away anytime soon. So what is it that we have to do?
Well, viewers, in the meantime, Minister Malone also encouraged those residents who may have been in close contact with COVID-19 positive persons or exhibit any symptoms of COVID-19 to come forward and report their symptoms to the healthcare professionals. Well, he said failing to do so could result in situations seen in the territory last July-August, where it may be too late for those individuals who wait until the last minute to seek help from the healthcare professionals.
We very strongly encourage that that folks come forward. Number one, it would confirm the status. Number two, they would have to be guided. Yes, folks may wish to avoid being quarantined, but the fact is that it is helpful to the economy, it's helpful to the country, it's helpful to their own health that they know the status so that they can take preventative measures and and whatever treatment affords, then they will be able to look at this and be actually considered, because it is not wise to wait until you feel you have to show at the hospital emergency room in order to be actually considered. If you have any suspect of this, then you can either report it to the public health. They will give you a time frame within which to be tested, because it is not on the very first day that you determine that you may have come in contact with a positive person, because there is a standard incubation period that the public health team has advised that needs to afford itself, and then you get tested properly. So there are measures taken, there are measures enforced, there are measures to be adhered to in order to have the proper testing as it relates to time and the type of testing required.
Well, viewers, that was the Minister for Health, the Honorable Carvin Malone. Ron, we see here somewhat of what we all would have speculated
and
previously.
anticipated,
yeah, with the Omicron variant potentially being in the territory. I spoke to Minister Malone, and he said that the results from CARPHA would have returned somewhat in between yesterday and today. Hopefully by this evening, the latest, and I'm sure that once that is confirmed, he said there will be a cabinet meeting to basically speak about the ramifications and speak about what's happening next in the territory, or once that is discovered, if it is discovered, and from that, then I'm assuming that then that information will be brought to the public to confirm that the Omicron variant of the COVID-19 virus is indeed in the British Virgin Islands.
I do believe, Kamal, and I hope that if and when that information comes forward, whether it is for or against, it will be brought to the public. But you and I have discussed many times that it's simply only a matter of time that this new variant is exposed to the British Virgin Islands. And we see essentially a suspicion, really person suspecting from the health services aspect and the minister as well, really alluding to the possibility of it. We're going to continue to keep you posted on this story, viewers, but continue on the local scene. The draft National Sustainable Development Plan will be placed on the Government of the Virgin Islands website, that is bvi.gov.vg, on January 15th for comments, recommendations, and submissions from the general public and industry stakeholders. Now, the government of the Virgin Islands, under the leadership, of course, of Premier the Honorable Andrew Foy, leader of government business, is therefore asking the public to prepare for the public consultation on the proposed National Sustainable Development Plan developed with technical support from the United Nations Economic Commission for Latin America and the Caribbean. Now, according to Premier and Minister of Finance, the Honorable Andrew Foy, the National Sustainable Development Plan was built on the inclusivity with recommendations from the public and industry stakeholders from the onset. Now, initially, there were more than 70 sets of consultations and submissions that have been received from many individuals, schools, community leaders, organizations, the private sector, public officers, ministries, district representatives, institutions, and the Virgin Islanders in the diaspora who provided valuable input and support in the development of this plan. Now, Premier explained that the consultation, viewers, is essentially ongoing. In his words, that in January, the UN ECLAC lead consultant Dr. June Sumer and her team will meet with special groups such as farmers, fisherfolk, financial services teams from the ministries, tourism stakeholders, private sector officials, sports personnel, of course, our hardworking civil servants, and members of the civil society organizations to ensure essentially that they are well represented within this plan. Now, the Premier said, and I quote, "The overarching goal of preparing a development plan is to strengthen the resilience of the society to withstand future hurricanes, pandemics, and any other crisis that may come, and of course to secure the future prosperity of the Virgin Islands." He added one of the promises made to the citizens of this country was that the draft National Sustainable Development Plan would be submitted for them and to them in comments and for reflection and recommendations before it was completed and taken to the House of Assembly. The public will be given 1 month to make comments, recommendations, and submissions. Of course, this will be the public's final opportunity, and I want persons to understand this. This time frame is the public's final opportunity to ensure that there is an overarching plan in place that will guide the sustainable development of the Virgin Islands for the next 15 years. According to Dr. Sumer, the National Sustainable Development Plan is grounded, she says, on a vision encompassed by the people of the country for their future and is sustained by an implementation. And Kamal, this is why I think it's even more important for persons to pay attention to not only the deadline but the document itself, because this is a document that will stand for the next 15 years. And Dr. Sumer, in her remarks, is really talking about how it will guide the future of the country within sustainable development and implementation of strategy, and of course monitoring and evaluation. A lot of Virgin Islanders, and I must admit, don't pay attention to key details until it actually affects them. Here we have an opportunity by the government of the Virgin Islands and the Foy administration to actively, and I'll be honest with you, they don't always give us the opportunity to reflect and review. Administrations, even before the Honorable Andrew Foy and his team, have passed legislations, they've passed bills that we, the public, don't get an opportunity to actually have consideration for. In this case, his administration is asking that you present your concerns, your recommendations. Who's to say that they will listen or they will not? But they're giving us an opportunity, and I do implore the general public to pay attention to the timeline, the document, and how we think it will move our territory forward.
Indeed, I mean, this is a time for the public, for the residents, obviously those persons and communities who would know the communities like the back of their hands, basically, that will be able to pinpoint certain areas that of concern that will be able, that they will be able to be able to put before the relevant authorities, where they can then discuss how we can go about incorporating this particular community or this particular district in our plans to ensure that when we come back with a revised, a more concrete plan, everything is basically incorporated. Because as you said, it's 15 years, and that is a long time.
It's a long time, buddy.
You don't want to wait basically until the plan is already finished. Or hundreds of thousands of dollars is already basically dished out towards the plan, and then you, after it's implemented, then you come to say, okay, well, we were not mentioned in the plan, or okay, you forgot us, you forgot this district, you forgot this community, because there was ample time basically. And we would have seen several community meetings being held by the Premier regarding the National Sustainable Plan with Dr. Somer as well last year. I'm sure that this is basically somewhat of another last chance now for the community basically to get involved, for those who did not get a chance to get involved basically, and submit your concerns, submit your recommendations to some of the issues that you may have, because sometimes the government, as you said, don't always present the public with such a opportunity.
They don't always give the public an opportunity to express their concerns, but in this case, they are. Yeah,
and hopefully they do heed to that olive branch and basically, come forward and provide some information.
I like that olive branch. Speaking of an olive branch, we are extending the olive branch to all of our friends and family and relatives, not only in the BVI as we continue to fight COVID-19, but across the region. Up next, we're going to take a look at the alarming cases, the rising cases over in the USVI. All this and so much more. Of course, we're looking at the UK. They're also recording some alarming numbers. COVID-19 is going to close out our newscast. All this and more after a word from our sponsors.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
Viewers, welcome back. Thank you so much for sticking with us. You're watching 284 News. COVID-19 cases in the U.S. Virgin Islands surged to some 3,308 on Thursday, a jump of 433 of new infections as the new variant of the disease continues to break records within the territory and around the world. Now, according to the VI Department of Health, St. Thomas accounted for some 1,571 of the active infections, followed by St. Croix, 1,532, and St. John with 205. These are by far, again, the highest numbers that all of these three territories within the USVI have seen since the wave of cases. Now, this wave is, of course, driven extremely by the transmittable variant of COVID-19, the Omicron, and of course, the good news is that the strain is drastically less severe than others. But the unfortunate part is that it is extremely highly transmittable. Governor Bryan and of course President Joe Biden really are preparing, they say, to change the strategy, and particularly President Joe Biden really to change his strategy and the messaging by telling Americans and U.S. territories such as the U.S. Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico to accept the virus as part of their daily life. I don't know how to feel about that, but this is what the President of the United States is sharing to the essential public, especially the territories. Kamal, I get what he's saying. I get what President Joe Biden is saying. Essentially, we have to move forward. We have to adopt. We have to move forward. We have to accept it. But we still see alarming numbers, not only in the USVI. Puerto Rico itself is struggling. The governor of Puerto Rico has recently implemented restaurants, educators, and healthcare professionals. It's mandated now that they must get the booster. So we see a level of desperation across not only the region, but particularly when we look at the U.S. territories. And we have not gotten to the point, our government has not spoken about mandates, vaccine mandates, but we see where for others and other territories it's becoming quite a conversation.
Indeed, and obviously, as you said, the Omicron variant of the virus basically making a mess in the USVI, and we are hoping that both territories, the USVI and the BVI, could recover and learn and bounce back from this much stronger than before.
And too.
Well, viewers, that's all we have for today's newscast. Kamal Haynes, viewers, have a great weekend. Have a safe weekend considering the current spike in the territory.
And I'm Ron Grant. Do have a happy Friday and a beautiful rest of the weekend. I want to employ persons to continue to be safe. We are burying some of our loved ones, our friends, classmates, and colleagues this weekend. It's going to be a heavy weekend, but we can get through it. And I want to encourage everyone to not only be safe, but consider your neighbors, consider your friends, and be kind. Happy Friday. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye, guys.